Loins girded.
Oh, it's too late. I didn't make it in time.
Brett, do you have anything currently hooked up to your CRT?
Yes.
Betamax.
Do you have a... I do have a Betamax player. I don't think it works properly. Do you have a component switch or anything tied to it? Like, you do?
Yes.
What kind do you have?
Just some no-name thing.
Is it powered?
No.
I found an S-Video switch at Goodwill, and I brought it home. And it was in the plastic still. Like, they had 5 or 6 of them. And I got home, and I realized there's a bottom compartment with a powered adapter to it, and it's not in there. And I was like, I've never used a powered S-Video. It's an S-Video specific one. I've never used a powered S-Video or component switch. Have you ever needed a powered part of that? I don't feel like I have either. I was just wondering. I can't really find a definitive answer on Reddit. Like, you need it to be powered or not. It's an S-Video specific one. Get rewards by purchasing or gifting subscriptions to NOFODcast channel while they're live and just chatting.
Yeah, that's what Mermy said she saw last time.
I mean, we did it for Call of Duty. Oh, it's the same thing as Call of Duty. 3 months of Apple TV Plus. All right, Brant, you can fire up Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, get that shit.
Cesar's on the Red Planet with Kramer.
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Cesar, your rods and cones are going to be screwed up.
Red light's good for that.
Yeah, well done, everybody.
My rods and cones are all screwed up. Renee's here, Mermy's here, everybody's checking in. What is it with Twitch begging for subs? They don't let me. We don't have that set up, right? That's our thing. We're resisting the subs. The fucking Red Planet. So I don't know if
we're gonna be
the Red
hawking
Planet the whole time.
Twitch is hawking subs more than Danny DeVito.
Pretty good analogy there.
I keep using that Danny DeVito sub thing on Call of Duty. So now we know if we're being listened to on the Prox chat, just go up Danny DeVito, and we'll know we're going. For the sub.
That's solid. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the Danny DeVito call sign.
Just like we did Chili Peppers.
We did do Chili Peppers.
Yeah. We got to come up with new call signs for these new maps.
I mean, it was PvE, but we had the Penis Rock rally for Helldivers also. Go to the Penis Rock. Ready for friend of the show Russell to start up the Helldivers campaign again. I know it's coming. As soon as he has access, he's ready to go. When does that new content drop? Did y'all see that? It's in the next week or so, isn't it?
I have to check. I know it is soon.
Cesar, we're getting audio from your side.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
I'm working on it. Give me a second here.
Yeah, we got you. Mic test, mic test, mic test. Live troubleshooting. Brant, nice shirt.
Yes. It is a wonderful shirt.
I want to say, believe it or not, that was a Five Below find. And I saw that in there. I was like, holy
Oh.
shit. That is a must-have. News heavy here. Brent, you gonna get a bunch of the games played with your new device, I'm assuming?
I'll probably have more games played with the device this weekend, hopefully.
Okay. Just trying to think. I've played the same stuff, just kind of some updates, but I mean, we all played Warzone. And that was all of us Saturday, right?
And
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. The Tuesday content. Let's get some Tuesday content in there. Stand by, live viewers and listeners. Cesar Concepcion is dealing with some technical things before he comes back to us. He's here.
Yeah. I had to make some changes here. Sorry about that.
He's back. Why does Mermaid say Skype? Yes, Skype. Yes, Skype. What's that?
Part of the show where I just constantly keep doing IT issues even at home.
Cesar, did you want to try a run with our teams? Do we still have our teams domain?
No. Or
did that go the wayside?
I paused it for now.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what we were gonna do, and I didn't want to keep paying the $20 a month until we figured it out.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
Because the free trial's already over. I mean, we could have tried it, but the free trial's already over.
Okay.
So whatever we would do at this point would be all in. All right, y'all, everybody's good. Nobody's getting feedback. I got a fan on over here. I just want to make sure it's not lighting up this mic.
Nah, I don't hear the fan at all, to be honest.
Okay, cool.
Mermy was asking about Skype. When you ducked out, the big Skype logo came up.
No, I moved something, and then it's like like all electronics. There's the little bit of slack to the cable to the monitor up top that I have on there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, what I moved it from, decided to move it without that reach. And I'm sitting there and like I have to move everything over to the right slightly so I can get everything plugged in properly. It's my worst nightmare.
It's all of ours. Were you trying to fix the Red Planet issue? Because that's still ongoing.
No, he needs to bring back the voice modulator and get that deep voice going while he's got the red room.
The devil.
I'm gonna do my Doom impressions.
As we count down to episode 666.
I mean, I've got it ready for that moment. So.
Yeah.
There we go. It's fading into pink. It's a little more viewable this way. Yeah. Here we go. Slow fade. Slow fade into viewability. I dig this. Instead of the like you're processing some photos back there. Welcome to my red room. Wasn't Buffalo Bill taking pictures and processing them in a red room like that? Did he have one? It's called a black room, right? But it was the low red light.
It's called a dark room.
Dark room. Yeah. I think Buffalo Bill had some home photography that he was taking some photos of. Oh, who knows? You guys ready?
Maybe.
Take a shot when I say, are we ready? I'm hitting record. I know Mermy's here. Producer Mermy, thank you for alerting me.
We got to the point where we acknowledge that Buish is not here as well.
Acknowledge Mermy for telling us to record and acknowledge that Buish is not here and call out Buish.
Yep.
So sorry, I did hear the fan when you leaned back, so I don't know if you're like in front of the fan, but when you leaned back,
I'm not. It's
heard
at
the
an
fan.
angle, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
He's fine.
Buish is here. Cannot call out
I
Buish.
hear it.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Can't talk shit about Buish. Everybody, ship up. We said nothing but great things about him.
Yeah, only good things about Buish.
Yep.
Buish is the best.
He's simply the best.
All hail Buish.
He's better than all the rest.
Mermy says he is here. That's all we needed. And Blue Cesar.
Yeah.
If he was green, he would die.
Blew his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him.
No, Brand, no.
Because he ain't got nobody to listen.
CEO Buish. Okay, why are we the CEO now? Buish.
CEO of what? Banning us on Halo Master Chief Collection.
Did you ban us on Halo Master Chief Collection? You said you uninstalled it. Did you get rid of it?
No,
No, it's about
he said
Buish.
Cesar said he wants it. He doesn't mind it in the rotation, but
yeah, it doesn't need to be a daily driver.
He was ready to rage quit that one night because that was some bullshit though.
I'm with you. It's not.
But he's talking to how Buish just like abandoned us in our Halo endeavors.
Left us to fight McLovin alone.
Omar McLovin.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other one next to Omar McLovin?
Oh man, was it Bergie the pilot and something the Jaguar? Bonnie the Jaguar.
Bonnie the Jaguar. Bergie the pilot.
And that was Gehanna or whatever. Gehanna.
Gehanna and the Shastikas.
But man, it's. I just remember we got all 4 of them at once. Remember that was just, it was all of our arch nemesis were there,
and they were just killing our spawn points left and right. Bui says you're now the Shrek Cesar.
I saw that.
Somebody once told me the world's gonna roll me.
He's not the Matrix seeing Cesar in the shed. Renee says we're going with the Joker theme now. Renee is here. Co-moderator Renee. All right, let's do this thing. 8:45.
Let's go.
You sure you just want to just keep talking randomly for the next 45 minutes?
Why not? Then we go to Warzone.
Let's ramble.
We play an hour of Warzone in there. And we could always short news and then get to Warzone that way, so.
Sure.
Are we fully back on Warzone? Is this official?
I mean, I did start coming around the Rebirth Island, so.
I was going to say, Saturday was kind of a mixed bag, but Tuesday went very well, so.
It's probably because it's been so long since I played it. I mean, we won one on Saturday.
We won one on Tuesday.
I would expect it for us not to win at all on Saturday and finally get our first win on Tuesday, but.
Trim the fat. We got rid of Buish and we won faster on Tuesday than we did Saturday.
I mean, that's usually the observation. The only it's opposite when we play Master Chief Collection. When we suffer more without Buish. So.
I mean, every Master Chief Collection roll is 50% chance of winning, right? What is it for Warzone? 1 in 12?
I don't know, because I saw there was an article I read where they cut the matchmaking on there for a while, where they're like, there's a set points they use to match you up with people with similar skills, right? And then they had done a Wild West version of it like a couple months back. I think we might have missed it. And it was like pure chaos, apparently. Like they were putting people who were beginners in with experts. And
did we fall off at the right time then, is what you're saying?
I don't know. Is it ever the right time?
Is it ever the wrong time? It's all subjective.
I'm waiting for Brent to reference a song from that. So casually.
Sorry, I'm opening something. So.
I mean, if Brent could pull out an Oingo Boingo reference out of everything we talked about, that
feed me the line again.
I don't even remember. I'm no good to you, Brent. I'm no good to you.
All right, here we go.
You're over here you're like a stage. You want me to be a stagehand? You're like line again, line please, line.
Nope. Let me take that one again.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 312 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game. And shit, I got nothing. We talked about all kinds of stuff. Color changing podcast. Jump on our YouTube or Twitch channel whenever we're streaming live and watch Cesar change from a multitude of different fictional characters such as Shrek. Or
he blends into his environment just like a chameleon.
Or the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, yeah.
Or a featured actor from the video for the song Blue. If he was green, he would die, but he's green right now, so I don't know. Cesar, you've been stuck on green for a minute, by the way.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to switch everything out, so...
It's a lot of work.
Ooh,
it takes a lot.
We should chroma key him into something
app,
different.
Pressing the button and then going down and choosing whatever color I want, and I'm like, then I have to go do it 3 more times. I'm like,
Stream Deck? Is this a Stream Deck micro that you have set, Cesar, per color?
It would save me some time if I actually did a Stream Deck micro with this.
And it's RGB. I've seen you do red. I've seen you do green. I've
Blue
seen you
and
do
green.
blue. Yeah.
I can do yellow, I can do gold, orange, salmon.
I feel like
crimson,
we've yet to see yellow.
turquoise.
Salmon.
I feel
Purple,
we've yet to see
magenta,
you encompassed in
pink.
urine. I would like a yellow view.
Yeah, it's my favorite one. It's all golden showers, man.
I like gold. I like showers. Granddad, I don't think you know what that means. I almost told a Boondocks reference today, and I had to think about my audience, and I was like, "This is not going to hit like I think it would hit amongst my
It's not the blah blah Congress, is it?
Nope, it wasn't the blah blah Congress.
Okay. That's the only one I have to. That used to be so funny back in the day. Now it's like, nah, it's not. It's like.
I think it was about kids behaving, and remember that intro? Granddad was in the grocery store, and the kid was acting out, and he was like, "Have you tried beating their ass?" And he's teaching that lady like he pulls the belt out of his pants. And he's teaching that lady like it's an Indiana Jones style whip with the belt.
Yeah.
Have you tried beating their ass? Oh, John Witherspoon. My John Witherspoon is not anywhere close to the caliber of the legendary voice actor, R.I.P.
I mean, we're here in spirit.
Yes, I'm only gunning for a close representation of that, and I'm not getting there. True legend. On tonight's news, speaking of legendary. Video game actors strike over AI. VCR Xbox One's having update issues, ? I might be able to personally elaborate on this one. New PlayStation controller announced. Legacy of Kain remaster, also ? What could that be? PlayStation VR 2 Steam app coming soon. That may benefit 33% of this podcast, to my knowledge. The numbers may be growing before too long. Anybody going to pull the trigger on that $200 off sale?
Oh, wait, talking about the VR thing?
Yeah, just because PSVR 2 is $200 off.
My bad. I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder on this podcast, but I have also purchased one Sunday.
Oh,
I just didn't broadcast.
66% of this podcast has now invested in PlayStation VR 2.
Soon as it hit midnight, I purchased it. At this, for whatever reason, they're not shipping mine out until 4 more days. So I was like, that's fine, because I'll wait.
I saw one yesterday at Walmart, and I was like, I wonder if they'll price match. Not sure how this would go. But I was already buying school supplies. I was like, I'm not dipping into this. Last but not least, we have your August PlayStation Essential Games. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, welcome. Brant, thanks for joining us in regular reality, not virtual reality.
I should have just put on my headset.
Would you record this show from virtual reality if you were able to?
I probably could.
That would
The
be
thing
cool,
has
right?
passed through, so.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Brant could be a VR.
I mean, it would be garbage for people watching us watch a screen inside. It doesn't work that way. 66% of the show has jumped. Am I the next one? Do I have to do it now? Also joining us here, constituting the other 33% of that 66%, Cesar Concepcion II, our resident page master and lore master. Cesar, welcome.
Hello.
You're still the Matrix, Cesar, as friend of the show, Bleach referred to you as.
Or the Shrek one, whichever one you want to choose. That's fine with me.
How goes it, Cesar? Was your deciding factor also $200 off, as was young Brant McKee's? That's at a good value. That's not bad. I don't hate it.
I went ahead and did it, and just because I think the production's been cut on it, so I don't know. Ooh. We don't know how much longer that's going to last, you know. So I was like, I don't know if it's going to make it down to that $200 sweet point. So I was like, this is probably as close as it's going to get. I said, you know what?
Yeah. So does it mean support for it's also going to dry up?
I mean, it's already.
Oh, it already has
support. Yeah. Nobody's making games internally for that system. I think it's been confirmed and through Sony.
That
thing's on life support, buddy.
Yeah.
They're about to pull the plug.
I just got it for Resident Evil 4 and Village, and then play it on PC, even though you don't have the full feature set.
But wait, it'd be so awesome if it played all those phenomenal PlayStation VR 1 games. It is not. It's not a news break. We've been bemoaning that lack of feature for many months.
I would imagine they would have done it by now if that was the case. That, and I still have my PlayStation Extra subscription, so I'm like, I get those VR games. I might as well use.
That gets you 2 a month, right?
That was 1 last month, right? I think it was 4 or 5 out the gate in June,
Yeah.
and then there's just last month was just the Job Simulator, which I had already owned because I had the PS4 version and it automatically upgraded me with the PS5. So sure, but I've mainly got this as a Resident Evil experience thing. So.
Resident Evil box.
Yes, even though I can't play 7 on there like that, that would have been fantastic. But I'm just gonna have to go back and forth.
Really? That didn't get a patch for the PSVR 2?
I think it just did for the PS5, but not the actual VR. If I'm not mistaken, Brand can correct me.
You would think it would be right there.
No.
Why is that so much harder? Because the camera tracking, like, it used the same shit?
Maybe a different setup because you don't have the PlayStation Move controllers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it takes more to do with it. Who knows?
The Move controllers and the camera.
I mean, that's what killed that backwards compatibility, right? I mean, you don't
Right.
have anything on those new controllers to initiate light to recreate that, you know?
So should they, is what's holding them back, was their initial investment with the Move controllers and the camera?
I mean, I imagine the camera will work. I'm just imagining it's whatever their control setup or scheme would be what's holding them
With
back.
those Move controllers. Like, let's use this existing thing and see if it can go forward. They re-released the controllers at least, but they didn't for this generation. Ugh.
So we'll see. I think they shipped mine in like in a couple of days. So I don't know what happened with mine. So it was supposed to be here today, and then they were like, "Oh, we pushed it back 4 days." So if they cancel it, I'll be like, I won't be sad. I'll be like, whatever. Because they've done that to me before. They're like, "Oh."
You know me, most of the games I'm going to talk about for games played are solo games, but I would rather play games with people. Are there any killer app multiplayer games for that PlayStation VR 2 that we could all participate in?
Oh, there's several. There's several. I looked into it. There's like a couple almost like Left 4 Dead style games. There's, what was it, Crossfire or Sierra or something? I can't remember.
It sounds like a Mac OS version.
It does. Brought to you by the expert port job works at Gearbox Software. Straight to the Mac OS by Randy Pitchford, the magician.
But yeah, there's a handful of things.
Are there any cross-play games with MetaQuest versions of these titles?
I don't know. There's also Among Us VR. So
I think Among Us VR is cross.
All right, so I can play Among Us with you guys. Is Walkabout Mini Golf cross-play?
It's on there. I just don't know if it's cross-play. It was one of the free games they gave you for PlayStation Extra because I downloaded it. So.
Gotcha. So you're telling me there's a chance? Might be 100% compliance.
Play Resident Evil in there. Yeah.
When does that sale run out?
I don't know.
Is that a permanent price drop?
End of the week, I believe.
Eee.
So I mean, you just saw the pins. Just keep an eye on it because I think they sold out the standard one on Amazon. So
it came back in stock.
It did on the standard one. I know the bundle did.
All right, which one did you guys jump on?
I did the standard.
Standard also? You don't need the $50 Horizon upcharge? Is there anything else in that bundle besides the Horizon game?
Nope.
That's it.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Horizon digitally.
Which is what digitally? Outside the box. 50
probably
bucks?
The same price, $50 probably. I mean, you're probably just waiting for a sale.
You don't have to have Horizon right off the rip. Has it ever been on sale, though? Or, as Cesar pointed out, all these games coming to PlayStation Extra. Is it a potential PlayStation Extra library patter to be the killer app for PlayStation VR DOS? I don't know. I'm tempted. Y'all got me tempted.
You do you, man. I'm not tempting nobody with nothing.
Brant, what put you over the edge?
That price point, and I looked at it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like,
so,
damn.
Is that it in the background? I just saw it over your shoulder. Is that it sitting up there, Brant, on the CRT?
That's it.
Toshiba is your PlayStation
That's
VR
it, buddy.
stand?
So I don't know, Richard. Just don't wait too long because I checked on Amazon. They're sold out again on Amazon for both models.
Damn.
I saw one at Walmart. Walmart's gonna price match, right?
Yeah. They should.
Yeah, nobody's going after that thing. It's been sitting there for probably. When did that thing come out? A year and a half ago? 2
Yeah.
years ago.
I
It's
mean,
been sitting there
the only
since then.
concerning thing is that it seems like this is the fire sale start of it because I mean the production's already stopped, so they're not going to refill any after this. So
Don't want to gamble and potentially get one for that $200 or $250 or something like that. I mean, they've seen a good response. Like the numbers are out there. They're selling a shit ton of these things at $350.
yeah, a lot of yeah, 350. Everybody, I've seen a shit ton of people talking about on Reddit about, oh god, this is awesome.
It's a lot of
it's
it
worth
for PC support that's announced and coming up though.
Yeah. I mean, I have a PC that can use it, so
You do?
I'm curious to try it. Yeah.
Brant has a MacBook that can take advantage of it. He
'Cause I-
nods yes.
I just got my my monthly Steam, like, hell, click here and run a test for us. Steam sits there and scans my computer to see what my PC setup is and compare it to everybody else. So,
I haven't gotten that in a while on this one.
yeah,
I wonder what VR this thing could pull off.
I think I just meet the minimum requirements for it to do VR. I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that you had to have a pretty strong graphics card in there. I think the X5500 XT is the one I have on there. I think it's the lowest you can have.
Oh, okay. Oof. So sorry, you just got that thing. Or it feels like it, but everything feels like
it's
recent.
a year old, so
Yeah.
it's 5 years now. So I mean, I'm already looking at CPU upgrades for getting into i9. I mean, at this point, all I can really do is upgrade the CPU, and after that, you just have to get a new machine.
Yeah.
So and that and the graphics card. So
Right.
I don't know if I'm that invested yet to update the graphics card. So
See what content comes down the pipeline.
I'm more before we get started. I'm more interested in getting like an Ally ROG X or something like that. Just using that as a portable laptop more than anything else.
The one of those core Windows-based handhelds.
Mm-hmm. Mostly just for using it just for general computing. I was like, that's a smaller version of a laptop to me, so
Yeah.
I just plug it into the dock and be done with it.
I mean, the dream of like a Windows handheld and a small Windows like super capable device has always been a dream. Remember those Windows tablets we bought a couple years ago with like 2 gigs of RAM in them? It's an awesome SNES 9X machine, but outside of that, it's not a whole lot. Oh, let's go ahead and ban you. Add to the block list. We don't want your spam in here.
I mean, they apologize first, so.
If they lead with the apologies, you're good with them? Just kick them out immediately. All right, let's get into this news. Video game actors, this comes from Andy Robinson at videogameschronicle.com, who recently announced, I will throw this out there since we use a lot of videogameschronicle.com content, they recently announced that they are Patreon supported. So, unlike this show that is not Patreon supported, we use a lot of videogameschronicle.com's news. It seems to fit a lot of the type of stuff we were interested in. They seem to have a good beat on the industry as far as goings on, predictive things, retro events. They just seem to encompass a lot of the things that we as a show are most interested in, right? And so they've recently announced that they are now on Patreon. So if you like this news that we discuss, that is from videogameschronicle.com, you can now go support them as well. Maybe one day we'll be on Patreon and you can double dip and support both the news and the Newsmaster all at once.
We never will because it's going to require us to watch a video, and we all don't have time for that.
That was Twitch. So. We actually have a Patreon account that we could launch at any time, I'm assuming.
With video viewing required.
Video viewage required. Patreon needed a bank account, and I don't think I got to the point where I was like, ooh, what are we doing here, guys?
We all put a secret bank account for all three of us. That's all we need is somebody like, I'm using the Patreon funds to buy a PSVR 2.
I mean,
need it for research.
That's always the joke, but that is also the dream, is it not? Is that not the... All right, it's $350 times 3, and then we are providing content based off those purchases from Patreon. But
that's we're like negative $400 in that account.
We're in the red. We're begging for Patreon supporters at the end.
We overspent this month, please.
Brant's selling his hot tub streams on the side. All right, back to the news. VideoGamesChronicle.com and Andy Robinson. Video game actors confirm strike action over AI. Everybody knows AI is touching everything. I recently went to an industry conference, not related to the video game industry, that was very AI headlined. It was a buzzword. Last year was digital twin. Would you like a digital twin of this? I guess enough people said no. They pivoted to, would you like some AI integration into what you're trying to do there?
Digital twine. I was like, what?
Digital twine. Video game workers who are members of SAG-AFTRA, the labor union for American actors, have called for strike action, which will begin July 26th. The strike was called after the union failed to negotiate acceptable protections around the use of AI for its members, it said. Last September, SAG-AFTRA, there's like SAG, BAFTA, and stuff like that, right? Like there's divisions of the Screen Actors Guild.
So.
It's Screen Actors Guild dash, I'm not quite sure what that acronym is.
Is Fran Drescher over this one too? Yeah, she is President Fran Drescher.
Really? Did you see it down there?
Yeah.
I love that even more. The nanny, according to the nanny. Last September, SAG-AFTRA members...
You could say that. The nanny added. You could say that. It's on there.
Wait till I get there. Last September, SAG-AFTRA members approved strike action if the union was unable to get terms it considered acceptable while negotiating the Interactive Media Agreement, or IMA. SAG-AFTRA had been in negotiations with several video game companies and their performance production arms since October 2022, including Activision Productions, Blindlight, Disney Character Voices, EA Productions, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, one of our favorite studios, Epic Games. The favorite studios part was for Insomniac Games, not Epic Games. Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and WB Games. Those companies now likely won't be able to hire unionized actors to perform motion capture or voiceover work for their games. Does that mean Scrubs would be in play? Cesar, we don't want no Scrubs. Some of the companies listed... What was that?
I said I'll let Brant do the music stuff.
What was it? Last week was Brant's music episode. Everything got split off into...
It's been the last two. This is week 3. So.
Yes.
Brant, are you currently listening to a shit ton of music?
Not necessarily. I have a musical mind,
yes.
And
it just spins off. Most of the
time, more often than not, I can just about spin most things into something, a song or something.
I will buy you metal if you do a Oingo Boingo song somehow. Get it in there.
All right, look that up. Weave that into.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, study their catalog.
Brant, weave that into this episode like you're the Dreamweaver.
There we go.
Nothing?
You got a chuckle at him.
Yeah, I did. I got a got a retort. Some of the companies listed offer performance services for several game developers and publishers. Blindlight has contributed performance work to series such as The Elder Scrolls, Halo, Destiny. Halo and Destiny, that's very specific. And Fallout.
The big two, right?
What's that?
The big two,
The big two, the top tier review.
Yes, that's all we got. Yep.
Bungie shooters. I'll take Bungie shooters for 400. And Fallout, while Formosa Interactive has worked on Call of Duty games and other high-profile titles like Death Stranding and God of War. I'm glad they broke that down, because when I was reading things like... I mean, we all know what Epic Games and Insomniac and WB Games consist of, right? But when you hear Blindlight and Formosa, you don't really know what that is. So tying these to these big series is important. Thank you, VideoGamesChronicle.com. Quote, although agreements have been reached on many issues important to SAG-AFTRA, that is AFTRA members, the employers refuse to plainly affirm in clear and enforceable language that they will protect all performers covered by the contract in their AI language. SAG-AFTRA said. The following quote is from an actress who may or may not be known as the Nanny, who added, President Nanny.
There we go. President Nanny. President Nanny. There you go. That's your episode title.
No more asking what the episode title is.
Yeah. That's it. Somebody write that
President
down.
Nanny added, "We're not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to." Do I have to read it like the Nanny? To read it like Fran Drescher?
Oh God, no. I hope not.
That allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Enough is enough. When these companies get serious about offering an agreement our members can live and work with, we will be here ready to negotiate. Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland, which is a much more
that's a hell of a name. Holy shit.
Man, that's my coach on my NCAA 25 dynasty that's taken Akron State to the title.
When you told me that, I thought it was a offensive tackle. I was like,
yeah, thank you, Duncan
I
Crabtree Ireland. Their quote is, the video game industry generates billions of dollars in profit annually. The driving force behind that success is the creative people who design and create those games. That includes the SAG-AFTRA members who bring memorable and beloved game characters to life, and they deserve and demand the same fundamental protections as performers in film, television, streaming, and music, fair compensation, and the right of informed consent for the AI use of their faces, voices, and bodies. Frankly, it's stunning that these video game studios haven't learned anything from the lessons of last year, that our members can and will stand up and demand fair and equitable treatment with respect to AI, and the public supports us in that. I've seen, she's a video game personality, but also a voice actress. Alana Pierce is included in this union and is alongside those striking from this. So essentially, the issue is they do not want AI encoding their voices, like using voice samples to recreate what they would say. So Cesar gives us a sound clip, and we run that through AI sound generation, and all of a sudden, from the 20 words that Cesar's given us, we've gotten vowels and consonants, and we no longer need Cesar. We can't pay him. We don't have to pay him for 80 hours of work. We paid him for an hour of work, and now we've turned that over to a model and generated everything we need for our game. Am I right with that assessment as for what that model can do?
Yeah. It's different from what I guess the movie industry has, because you saw that James Earl Jones retired from doing the voice of Darth Vader, right?
Yes.
But he signed off on doing the AI version of it to Disney. They gave him the rights, so he will continue to be the voice of it, but through AI. So
It will not actually be him.
correct, I think, but they worked out a contract for that. I think the concern is they don't have anything set up for that in SAG-AFTRA like that.
Right.
So I think that's what they were working on, but nothing ever came clear on it.
This will help outline that for that industry.
Yeah.
Akin to the weird, it's weird to me, like, here's Kurt Cobain singing a Smashing Pumpkins song in his voice, and it sounds just like him. Like, I don't enjoy those.
Yeah.
Those are weird to me, and it's... Was it Kim Kardashian did the... Kanye paid for her dad to, like, be a hologram and tell her how much he loves her and is proud of her and stuff like that. It's just there's a weird, uncanny valley line that gets crossed with... And I mean, this is taken from people's pockets. Like, it's not even like it's weird, yes, still, but this is robbing the talent of what they produce versus actually hiring them and using them for their talent. So I'm with this too. I mean, it's going to affect some of the stuff we get, right? This hurts the pipeline down the road, but I would rather these protections be in place for these professionals and these gifted artists down the road for us, right?
I mean, they use their voice to make money, right? So that's
Yes.
only natural that they got to protect that, right? So
Yes,
I mean, that's a given. I'm going to go with that.
it is. I'll touch on this one.
Also, to add to your, I'm sorry to interrupt,
good.
but add to your Smashing Pumpkins. It's funny you mentioned that, because I saw the trailer, the new trailer, and Brand might have seen it, for the Terminator Zero coming out on Netflix, the anime done by Production IG, and it has a recut version of Smashing Pumpkins, The Killer in Me and The Killer in You, which is actually pretty good. It's part of its.
Is it a cover or just somebody splicing it up?
It's
somehow?
a recut version of it. I now I got the damn song stuck in my head like this whole week. It's like I haven't had it in there forever. Now it's just like it will never leave. So I just wanted to throw it out there for anybody who wants to experience the same pain.
It's another '90s music episode.
Yeah.
Which Brand adores. Love it. Moving on to
absolutely.
What's that?
I said absolutely love it.
He loves it. Moving on to the next bit. You won't love this, Brant. Launch model Xbox One consoles with older firmware are reportedly failing to update. This comes from Chris Scullion at VideoGamesChronicle.com. The issue essentially makes the consoles offline only until fixed. I have recently encountered this, which is the reason why I stumbled upon this article. My oldest child moved into their own room and has...
Oh, did it finally happen?
It's happened, but this is like their setup, right? So they didn't have their own dresser, and they didn't have their own TV stand, and so like this was the full, like, this is gonna be your TV stand, this will be your dresser, this will be your Xbox place, and that sort of stuff. And their Xbox hasn't been turned on for a long time.
Which sucks, because I mean mine hasn't been turned on since I bought the S, the original S. So pretty sure I'm not gonna be able to update it.
So
at this
you and I
point,
are in
so.
the same boat. Brant, did you ever have the VCR Xbox One?
I did, but I got or updated out of that version of it several years ago.
Okay, you don't
so
have
I no
that one
longer
sitting
have
around.
that. No.
Yeah.
As Brand dunks on me and
Take that. So as we kept, I was like, man, it's not. Maybe it's a Wi-Fi thing. Like I need to run Ethernet in here and try to update this thing. So, but I decided to research it first and found this VideoGamesChronicle.com article. I sent this article to my oldest child. They replied back with, "That looks cool," and I replied back with, "You didn't even read the article." And they replied back with, "I know, because I think it looks cool." And I replied back with, "I think you need to actually read the article." Then they came running downstairs. "Dad, that's why it won't work." I was like, yes, that's what I was trying to tell you. This comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com and Chris Gullion. Certain launch model Xbox One consoles are failing to download firmware updates, a new report finds. According to Digital Foundry on Eurogamer, the 2013 launch models of the console, the larger VCR-like console, as opposed to the Xbox One S revision, so the smaller, it's like much smaller version, that was like a white and gray model, I believe, which were released in 2016. I can't believe that was that long ago. I bought that to have 4K gaming. I got that to have 4K gaming because that was such an improved model. The One S is really what they should have launched with, right? Then we wouldn't have had the whole bullshit Xbox One versus PS4 better version nonsense for 2 years, 3 years. Can't download the latest firmware update if they haven't been updated in a while. The report stems from a small number of claims on games forum NeoGAF that players were struggling to download updates for older Xbox One consoles. Upon further investigation, Digital Foundry team found that Xbox One consoles containing outdated firmware may no longer be able to update. The team attempted to update 3 Xbox One consoles, 2 running a dashboard from 2017 and 1 running a dashboard from 2018. All 3 failed to update to the latest firmware. I can confirm that ours was updated in no later than 2022. So ours is much more recent than this and is still affected. Not only by trying to download the update, but also by saving the update to a USB stick and trying to install it that way. Xbox consoles can't function online unless they're running the latest firmware, which means these consoles currently can't access Xbox Live, and also can't run any digital purchases that need an online check. Because Cesar, we played on that Xbox last Christmas with that Story of Seasons game. Remember that?
Maybe.
Did you play some Story of Seasons on that Xbox potentially with the cows and stuff?
Yes, in that particular.
So that was December 2023.
Yeah.
The report also points out that if someone factory resets one of these consoles, they will effectively be bricking it because it won't be able to download the latest firmware as part of the initial setup. Xbox One S consoles don't appear to be affected. I think Murmy has one of these. According to the report, and it also appears that launch model Xbox One consoles that have regularly been updated over the years can continue to update as normal. That is not the case with mine with the 2023 update. Digital Foundry says it has contacted Microsoft about the issue and that it is confident the problem will be fixed, but notes that the situation raises awkward questions about the future prospects of console hardware reliant on an internet connection to fully function. Of course, famously, Xbox One was going to launch with a required online check right off the rip.
Yeah.
So from 2 days ago now, Jason Ronald from Digital Foundry, for players who are at Digital Foundry, players who are having issues updating their Xbox One consoles, still running the old OS, the issue has been resolved.
Oh, so I can let it rip. But we're still relying on some sort of random patch to be able to play anything, which sucks. And they released firmware to exclude the Kinect. Remember, the Kinect used to be required. Let's also get one for offline play, por favor. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll fix it because I mean, Sony fixed the C-Bob-Omb issue on PS4, right? So,
how late was that into that console's life?
It was several years, right? It was like what 2 years ago when they were finding out that was an issue. 2 years ago.
So after PS5
I think when
came
the
out?
CMOS were dying on some models, they were like, "Oh, this is going to be a problem."
Yeah. So a similar type ticking time bomb as far as that VCR Xbox One.
I think they fixed it on the PS4. I don't think the PS5 has the same issue. I think that the only one that's going to suffer from that is the PS3, right? That's the only one they did not fix.
But it's not as reliant on the DRM check and stuff, right? And arguably, like the Xbox One store closing, was that last week or earlier this week? Sailing the high seas.
2 days,
3
days ago.
Sailing in the high seas would be the right method of playing those games now, as it would be for the 360. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take this next one. A new PS5 controller.
Yes, in celebration of the new Astrobot game.
Yeah, I'm ready for that Astrobot game. Give me that Astrobot game.
We are getting an Astrobot-themed PS5 controller. The limited edition DualSense will be released September 6th, I believe, along with the Astrobot game. It's priced around $80. And they, of course, do put emphasis on the fact that it is limited quantities. So,
are you partaking, Brian? I mean, if the eyes would actually light up, right?
It does not.
If they would light up, I would.
Because that was one thing. So for those who know what a DualSense looks like, this is a all white DualSense. The grips on the side of the controller are like a metallic blue. The sticks are even white, as well as the PlayStation button in the center. But the touchpad is black, and it's got kind of the dotted Astrobot eyes on the touchpad. And people did ask that. They were like, "Oh, do those light up or do anything? Because then how does that affect battery life?" And they have to come out and say, "Of course, it's just part of the design." So.
That would have been day one, man. That day one, if that lighted up, I was like, yeah.
But
if the eyes actually were in there,
yeah. Of course, pre-orders go up, like I said before, August 9th on PlayStation Direct, and that will be in the UK, US, France, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, Austria, and Portugal. And I think that's pretty much all of that from this article. There is also a Concord controller that they announced a little bit before this as well, if there's anybody interested in getting a Concord-themed controller. But
it looked nice.
Part of that generation where accessories are starting to come.
Yeah. We're not
off the presses.
We're not getting a lot of games. We are getting accessories.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their moneymaker, right? That always has been.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it makes Microsoft a shit ton of money because they're always releasing a controller out. So
they just announced one, didn't they?
It looks good. I like it.
Yeah.
See-through blue. I looked at it, I was like, man, I don't need this, but
and
it looks really good.
Did you the trailer for it?
We have a trailer for a console announcement, controller announcement.
Yeah, for a controller announcement.
Yeah, it had the old like Xbox startup, but it was all blue. Kind of like where Cesar is now. He's in front of that little green reactor.
That thing ran in code, by the way. That wasn't a video that played on an Xbox. Yeah. I recently stumbled on a thread that was talking about that. Like, that was just... It was compiled every time you fired up your Xbox. That wasn't a video that played. It's like, man, that's freaking awesome. Because when they went to make that controller with the little, the little intro thing... They were looking for that video, and it didn't exist. It was it's code on the console.
It does exist.
It does exist. They do exist.
There we go.
There we go. Who likes the original Legacy of Kain games?
I liked it when I was able to play it on Steam until it crashes when I can't go above 720p.
They are dead on Steam. I bought all of these a long time ago.
It's such a hassle to play them.
It's all Eidos games, right? Like, it's all those old Tomb Raiders. It's all of these Legacy of Kain. It's these old Eidos games that just don't... Commandos, they don't behave right on Steam.
Well, the Legacy of Kain remaster was spotted at Comic-Con recently.
Has there been any update on this?
Well, I mean, you have what THQ Nordic has that show on
Yeah.
Gamescom, so I think that's
They're probably
an
waiting.
indication where it's going to be at. So
Then why send those press materials there?
somebody didn't cover up stuff that needed to be covered up. Just
Yeah.
usually the case, right?
All right,
No.
This was seen on a statue at Comic-Con by Reset Era. So
This is a weird sidebar in the chat. We're going to get to the Legacy Kane stuff. Timbo Slice is here with us, and Timbo Slice is a coworker of ours, Brant McKee. And I found a copy. Someone had a copy of Legacy of Kane Soul Reaver in our break room one day for PlayStation. It was just in there. It was in the break room. And I'm like, I went to Timbo, and I was like, this has to be yours. I don't know anyone else that would have a PlayStation 1 copy of Legacy of Kane just sitting up here. He's like, no, it's not mine. I've already got one. I'm good, thanks. It was just sitting up there. So I have 2 copies of Legacy of Kane Soul Reaver if somebody needs a copy for PlayStation. I might have 2 copies for Dreamcast also. But go ahead, Brant. Tell us about this revival that was announced, unannounced.
By me.
So this statue was just on a display there at San Diego Comic-Con, featuring the logo for Legacy of Kane Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. So let's see.
I've played a little bit of Soul Reaver. I've never played Soul Reaver 2. That one didn't garner the same acclaim as the first one.
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of Blood Omen, and then I don't know if I ever got into any of the Legacy of Kane.
The Soul Reaver? The Amy Hennig ones?
Yeah, the Blood Omen one, the original one by was it?
But that was more of like a top-down hack and slash type thing, right?
Yeah.
These are these Legacy of Kane or Soul Reaver remasters? Soul Reaver 1 and 2
No, just Legacy of
remaster.
Kane.
Yeah.
So these are the adventures with Raziel. This is the vampire ones. Like the open, they were like, there was no loading times on PlayStation, right? You just went from area to area.
I would imagine we would get like a Blood Omen remaster. They came out with the second one, right? You know, put those 2 together, 1 and 2, because they did come out with a second one.
Really
that's kind of what they're referring to.
Just do the Soul Reaver stuff and not the whole Legacy of Kane series. Cesar, which one did you say you played?
Blood Omen, the first one. That was done by the Eternal Darkness people, right?
Silicon Knights, the Dennis Dyack studio.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I have Defiance.
They were the ones that made the first one
for Xbox, but that's a different. That's not Soul Reaver either. That's not the action adventure ones. It's convoluted.
So, the only one I played was Blood Omen. That was it. Because that was part of the twist of Legacy of Kane, right?
Yeah,
that was the twist because you were playing. Yeah. You were after the hero from the first game, right? That was the twist.
And we got 4 games across 3 consoles in 6 years, 7 years, and then nothing since then.
Yeah.
Which is odd on its own.
Then we got the Tomb Raider, the Angel of Darkness greatness. So.
Which I'm sure doesn't play well on Steam Deck. Was it you like the Angel of Darkness? I feel like I stumbled upon something. Maybe it was a Reddit thread where there was an Angel of Darkness defender.
Appreciation Reddit thread? Show me where that thread is so I can ban it.
Some people were like, they were trying to go places. It was not a bad. It just didn't execute, but it wasn't bad. There's some defenders out there for Angel of Darkness.
Still does not hit. Yeah.
There's a reason Tomb Raider has been successfully rebooted twice since then.
I mean, there's a reason why it got taken away from a certain team.
Yeah.
So.
Where's Core Designs now? What are they doing?
They ended up doing mobile games at some point before they disappeared into the ether.
Timbo Slice says, I think the company went bankrupt that made Legacy of Kane. And that was Silicon Knights. So they ended up going on to do... they got in that litigation with Epic Games, but they did the Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes.
That's what finished them off, was that Epic Games fight.
They did Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes for GameCube. They made that X-Men game for 360 and PS3. X-Men Destiny? Is that right? Is that the one that was recalled? I believe so. That was the one that was recalled?
I believe so, that makes sense.
And then their big magnum opus was Too Human on the Xbox 360, which was also recalled because it was using Epic Games. Yeah. So they licensed Epic Engine. Was that Epic Unreal?
That or the X-Men might have been a licensing thing, where the
X-Men
license ran out or something. It was something stupid.
Too Human got recalled.
You're right about Too Human, and I think the X-Men one that the license was cut short. It wasn't around for that long. It was cut short pretty quickly.
Do y'all have a copy of Too Human?
do digitally and a
Yeah, I think it's
physical
free
hard
on
copy.
Xbox. Like, still, like you can just
Yeah.
go download Two
I think
Human for free.
I think
Oh,
because of the litigation, they can't sell it.
Yeah, but they also
So,
didn't just like remove it, which is kind of cool.
so yeah. So before we diverge any further, Richard, you mentioned core design. I think the last game they made was Smart Bomb and Free Running for PlayStation 4.
Smart Bomb was a good
portable,
game. I like Smart Bomb.
And then before that, we mentioned previously the last couple of weeks on this podcast that they also made Fighting Force 1 and 2. So, and that's a remaster coming out of that.
Fighting Force collection. Silicon Knights also made Eternal Darkness for the Nintendo GameCube, which is a phenomenal horror game.
Anybody played the Tomb Raider: The Prophecy on Game Boy Advance? They made that one too around the same time they made Tomb Raider: Angel of Darkness.
Specifically. That's another core design Tomb Raider.
I'm curious to see. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it displays.
Tomb Raider: The Prophecy. I've never heard of it.
This is the first time I've seen it. It's got a 66 out of 100 for Metacritic.
Not bad. It's failing.
Game received a 3.5 out of 5 score from GameSpy reviewer Scott Steinberg, who praised it for the aesthetic effects of the game camera, which gave the illusion that the player can see into a three-dimensional space.
What?
However, Steinberg criticized the repetitive nature of the game, as it largely consists of the player having to trigger a switch and opening a door or shutting off a trap, only to come to the next switch and repeat
That's
it
Tomb
again.
Raider.
Yeah.
What's he playing?
GameSpy concluded that although the game has some merits, it falls short in terms of gameplay standards, and many of its greatest assets are related to audio and visuals. So I never played. I was just curious. It looks interesting.
I figured it would be like a lot of the Tomb Raiders that era were just 2D. They were 2D side scrollers on Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance and stuff, and Engage.
And that's what I think. That's what they mentioned on here. Was that the previous one was it like an 8-bit successor of, not successor, but 8-bit homage of that Tomb Raider franchise. So it's like you mentioned there.
I said Engage, but Engage got a good port of the original Tomb Raider, like a solid version.
So I'm going to leave it up to Brant, the resident Game Boy Advance player of the show, to hopefully acquire a copy of Tomb Raider: The Prophecy.
How much is it?
And
can you stream it?
I don't know. I mean, they're coming out with an adapter that you can just plug in Game Boy Advance games to your PC now. I guess it makes it easier to.
Who's making that?
I saw it somewhere. I got to look for it. I saw it somewhere. I got lost in a Twitter thread somewhere where we're talking about it.
Brant, game and manual on eBay is $16.
I'm glad we just automatically put Brant in there. Brant.
Yeah, who else are we assigning this to? This is live from Brant on the Tomb Raider GBA beat.
Let's do it.
It's up Brant's alley. That's why I'm like.
It's a Brant game.
Yeah, it's a Brant thing, right? Something Brant would do.
And it's basically a hero shooter on the hero MOBA shooter on the GBA. Tomb Raider: The Prophecy.
All right,
look at it, core design. It's right there on the label. That's amazing.
So it's already out. So it's called. If you go to Epilogue, this is something called the GB Operator. It apparently came out 3 years ago. The adapter lets you play Game Boy cartridges on your PC, and it even detects if it's a fake Game Boy Advance game.
Oh,
that's
it would let you know if it's a fake. Yeah.
That's extremely useful.
It's $50, and it's already on for sale. So, like a cartridge slot for your computer is what they have on their website.
All right, Brant, we totally derailed the story. Is there anything else to add from Comic-Con?
Actually, no, because I mean
add Tomb Raider to cart.
All it does is mention the fact that Dark Horse Comics is the one that were, I guess, presiding over the statue, and they would mention that
it's also owned by THQ Nordic, right?
Yeah,
it's part of that.
That the fact that the statue comes out in August, but when they were asked about the fact that it said remaster and what about that, they of course can't say anything about that. And then there's
what?
What are you? What? What?
They didn't do the lawyer from Simpsons where he's like they circling stuff and then master this. They were like it's a question mark at the end. They forgot the question mark.
But there's a tweet there, actually from Wario64. You can see the QR code and where it actually says remaster 1 and 2 and things like that. And then of course it just mentions, like Cesar was saying earlier, the original Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, developed by Silicon Knights, and published by Crystal Dynamics in '96. where then it followed up with Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, in
The
1999.
Amy Hennig
Also
game.
developed by Crystal. Yep, Crystal Dynamics. So that is all for that one.
Are we just not more upset that it's not called Soul Remastered?
Yeah, they've got to like work it into something else.
It's Soul Remastered.
Yeah, just Reeve Mastered would probably
Remastered. Yeah,
Reeve
Soul
Mastered.
Remastered. I'm more upset it's not called Soul Remastered.
That's what they need to call it.
Soul Remastered.
Reeve Mastered.
This THQ, they were known for throwing out random remastered. I was waiting for Reeve.
They gave us Definitive. They gave us War Mastered.
Yeah.
Now they're just being business polite now. What the fuck are we seeing here? It's crazy.
So what do you call that? We've got the Soul Reaver collection. What do you call your Legacy of Kain collection?
Yeah, remastered.
Legacy of Kain. Blood Omen 1, 2. Was Defiance the second one or third one?
I think it's the direct. It's not a direct sequel. It's the.
All right, so you had.
I don't know.
Blood Omen.
I'm gonna stay out of this conversation because I don't know the timeline.
I think Timbo Slice in the chat.
Blood Omen.
It's Blood Omen, Soul Reaver.
Yeah.
Defiance, Soul Reaver 2, or maybe Soul Reaver 2 and then Defiance. But that's your 4, right? There's 4 games in the series.
I think that's all they made was 4, right? Unless there's some
5th.
He said it's
Timbo
fifth.
Slice says 5th. That helps out so much.
5th.
Where's the other?
Why is he not? Why is he not on here doing like the board from Back to the Future 2 with the alternate timeline?
Yeah, showing everything.
So this is where it branched in the timeline.
Resident.
We have an alternate 1985.
Resident Blood Omen fan, Timbo Slice. We need you. We need that lore.
Bring in our resident Legacy of Kain lore master.
Truly is. Did we just do a live correction and get this right to start with? Legacy of Kain is a series of dark fantasy action adventure video games primarily developed by Crystal Dynamics.
No, he put in the chats. It's already there.
It's already there. What do we have?
Blood Omen, Soul Reaver, Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaver 2, and then Defiance.
What is Blood Omen 2 on?
That's the one I'm referring to. That's on Xbox, ain't
Blood
it?
Omen 2 was released on PlayStation 2, Xbox, Windows, and then GameCube. Almost
the one I played was on Xbox.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. It is the 4th title in the Legacy of Kain series and is the sequel to the first game in the series, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, with Blood Omen's protagonist, the vampire Kain, returning as the central character. So you had Blood Omen Legacy of Kain in 96. 99 brought you Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, the Amy Hennig.
Yep.
The one we talked about at the start of the story.
Yep.
2001 brought you Soul Reaver 2, so an early PS2 game. That is a direct sequel to Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. The next year, 2002, brought you Blood Omen 2, which is a sequel to 1996's Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. And then 2003 brought you Legacy of Kain Defiance.
Not the movie with Daniel Craig, right?
Yeah, sure. Wasn't there a PS3 online shooter called Defiance also? Is that a whole nother thing?
Possibly. I just remember the Daniel Craig movie because he was big with the James Bond.
Okay, Legacy of Kain Defiance's director is Amy Hennig. I did not know that Amy Hennig stayed on with that franchise. Same thing with Soul Reaver 2. Okay, wow. You always hear her name attached to that first one. I just thought it was a done deal. In 2002 or 2022, Square Enix sold the rights to the series to the Embracer Group, who have expressed interest in developing sequels, remakes, and remasters of Legacy of Kain. So that's why we're starting to get that.
Reeve Mastered. We're doing
Reeve Mastered.
Yeah.
I think you got there, Cesar. I think we were workshopping that. I think you got there. I'll take Reeve Mastered. That's not bad.
I'm hoping when they announce today it comes out as Reeve Mastered.
All right, it's either President Nanny or Reeve Mastered. We're onto some good ones here. I don't know if Reeve Mastered might come up again.
Nothing beats President Nanny, man. There's
President Nanny's solid.
I mean, how often we're gonna hear Fran Drescher address stuff?
And Cesar read the news as Fran Drescher.
I cannot.
This one's
no.
this one.
No.
This is a quick. I can't even move on. This is a quick bit. This comes from Jordan Midler at VideoGamesChronicle.com. PlayStation VR 2's Steam stream Steam app is officially launching next month. The PlayStation VR 2 headset PC adapter will be required. The PC adapter is $59.99 at select retailers and available August 7th. So you got to have the app for the part. Here's the official announcement. Here's what you'll have to do to play VR games and apps on Steam using your PSVR 2 headset and PSVR 2 Sense controllers. Set up your PSVR 2 on your PC, update the firmware for your headset and Sense controllers, and adjust your settings for your PlayStation VR 2 from the Steam VR dashboard, including setting your play area and screen brightness. That seems pretty straightforward. Sony has already touched on features like HDR headset feedback, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, and haptic feedback not being available on PC. I bet if they keep selling them and this is their number one use, they end up adding that stuff, or at least we will hope so, right?
I don't know. They never freaking added VR1 support,
Yeah.
so I mean, there's rumors of them adding PS3 support. How long could it take them to do that? Like 6 years?
But I
5
mean,
years?
Sony, as we know, are in a different. They're a little bit different. Well, Microsoft's a whole nother animal. Sony is still a hardware company as well, right? Like I can go buy Sony headphones and they're not PlayStation branded. I'm not tied to a PlayStation ecosystem, so they could potentially spin this off as we get more PlayStation. You know, PlayStation is becoming synonymous with a Steam release. Just the same. There's tons of great PlayStation games on Steam.
Yeah, I mean, they're slowly getting their UI on there, right? Where you get more signups for PlayStation on there, right?
And if
get connected in that world, you earn trophies now, and so they're building that ecosystem that Microsoft has done. What, 2016?
Yeah.
When they were doing day-and-day release.
And if they sell a lot,
on
if they
PC.
sell a lot more of these headsets, you'll probably see a lot more integration in that. You could see maybe the sales of that sends to another model.
I appreciate you being the devil's advocate on this one. I just don't believe it. So I've been heard too much from Sony where people are like, oh, I want to give Sony hard times, like they do it all the time. So I'm like, I'm just like, eh.
But you would think, listen, at $350 as a great PC headset with this adapter, so what? What are you talking? 410, 420. Heyo. You maybe have a great PC headset, and they rebrand that thing as like a Sony VR headset. It'll work for PS5. It'll work for PS6. It'll work for PC. That sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying they're also a hardware company. It's okay.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying you're not wrong. My deep disdain of believing they actually do something right is my.
And
where I draw the line.
You'll be a good use case. You don't have another VR headset, right? So you're not pulled to the MetaQuest ecosystem for a bunch of these games. You'll now have access to them, and you'll also.
MetaQuest doesn't believe I'm a real person, so I'll never.
They don't think you're a real person, but you don't need that anymore. You can get around it. I told you this.
I still have therapy sessions about that with my
on principle.
I'm still hurt. Yep, it still hurts, man. It's 10 years ago. Like, we don't believe you're real, even though I sent them a driver's license. It's like that doesn't. Still doesn't
we tried that to get the show on Facebook, but I'm perfectly happy with us all failing at being able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But you'll be a good use case because you'll have access to the PlayStation store for that content, and I'm assuming you're going to use it for your PC as well. So you'll be able to to tell where your preferred use case is for that.
I mean, I don't have the HTC. Was it HTC
Vive?
Is what they use for the Steam. I don't have that, so I'm like, I'm not going to get it. So I honestly, the next VR headset, you won't talk me into MetaQuest. I
you got your piano app. Does PlayStation VR have your piano app? I know you want to play that damn piano.
It does not. I do want that piano app.
Play that piano app.
I do. I would rather pay $3,500 for a Vision Pro than to get a MetaQuest. I would pay 10% of that.
Oof.
So I would rather pay $3,500. I would pay $3,500 tomorrow versus if you had to buy one of them or you're gonna die. I'm paying $3,500 for a Vision. I
mean, we all also know that Apple tech is going to come down. That's the first generation of that stuff. It's going to start coming down. And then Brent can use his MacBook for the Vision Pro.
Because I do enjoy the segments I see on Twitter where somebody's like, they can't even see me cry as they watch like Lucky Star on the airplane seats. Like you see the airplane seats and they got the Vision Pro on there and they just turn on the backgrounds.
Yeah.
and they're just sitting there like watching the Lucky Star anime for 12 hours on a 12-hour flight. So.
And again, I know we've told this story before. Like, you sent me the most compelling case for that Vision Pro that Apple has never presented, and it's just screens all around the house. That's just somebody walking through the house, and they've got basketball here, and they've got the office set up with 2 screens in this room, and then they go in the bathroom, and it's just like.
Keeps it pinned. It keeps it pinned where you put it at. Yeah. It's crazy.
30 seconds. A 30-second clip of, like, here's how this augmented reality could work for you versus the bullshit that they come up with.
It's like Apple knows that the average consumer is not going to buy this shit, so there's no reason to advertise it like that. They're like, there's no way we show this if somebody's going to drop $3,500 unless their life is on the line, and they had a choice between that and MetaQuest.
Well, how well is that doing pitching that as a spatial computer? How many people are purchasing spatial computers for that component?
Most, like, my workplace has several of them, and that's usually the only people you're going to see buying them, right? It's to see how you integrate that in like a enterprise environment, maybe. Business-like environment, because that's the only people who's going to be able to afford that.
My wife's.
There's not a Netflix app on there, right?
Yeah.
You can't. It's tough to watch. Like your everyday applications on there because they don't have native apps for that. So it's like you have to go to a web browser and to utilize some of those applications. So it's not really made for the consumer yet, because like Netflix is like, we're not making an app for because it's not a consumer product right now. It's too expensive. So.
Gotta put porn on that thing. Porn is how tech gets adopted, right?
Dear God, yeah. I mean, it would probably sell. I see people paying $3,500 for that. That's crazy to me, but yeah.
But on the enterprise note that you were talking about, my wife said that they had one at the job, and she saw it, and I was like, "Holy hell! Like, what is that use case? Like, why do you have those? Where's that coming from?" And she's like, "No, it's just a deal that our company has with Apple. We have like an Apple room, and it's just it's just a bunch of Apple shit in that one room. Like they don't have a use for it. It's just there. It's just a demonstration thing."
My particular workplace without getting into much details, they had a huge use case for like VR, just for like training. There's certain areas in my workforce that can be considered dangerous, especially for new employees, so that they would put on the VR headset to get like what a certain area would look like beforehand. You're like, oh, this is what you look at, this is what not to touch, type of stuff like that. They were using that as like a training
That's
tool,
smart.
that way they don't have to drive all the way over there and like, drive all the way to this location and have somebody kind of like walk you around. And so I mean, they're still going to do that, but you prepare mentally ahead of time and kind of see. That's what they were using it for. Whether or not they ever got through with it, I have no idea. But I know I would imagine it would be along those lines is what they're using it, how it would work in that work environment. Like, could anybody utilize this and just not get a desktop, and do their daily work on there,
I like your training mention, because the newer phones can record in spatial video. So you can have somebody create that content, and then those devices are, presented in that Vision Pro, and then they can see a walk around a dangerous facility or job site or whatever it is, without actually being there and just being in the safety of the haptic feedback on the headset. Don't touch that.
Yeah, I mean. Yep. It's like every time I ride to Ingles, the Ingles over there in Stockbridge, and I'm already getting off topic, but the Ingles by Stockbridge, I ride down there every time, and there's a building down there that looks like the Raptor Preserve. Because every time I'll look at Renee and look, it's like, shoot her.
Seriously?
Know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know where that's at. We're gonna have to talk about that off the air.
It looks like a Raptor Preserve. Like I see it. It looks like the Raptor
You
Preserve
bred raptors?
from Jurassic Park. It has like the little wire fence and all that around it. It looks like the building on there.
When they're all like,
shooter.
When they're all like, the camera's like looking through the weeds and the raptors are whipping around in there, you just see the weeds and you see their like disgusted faces with the grass going in front of them. They're watching the cow get destroyed.
Yeah.
Last but not least, from PlayStation Blog, PlayStation Plus monthly games for August: Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. It's a big get for PS5 and PS4. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach for PS5 and PS4, and Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights.
Ender Lilies is up.
PlayStation 4.
I don't know if you played it, but I know you'll love it.
What is that? Is it a brand game?
It's a Metroidvania of the Metroidvaniest. It's
right.
like if you love, it's like a anime. It's like an anime version of Hollow Knight, just with anime characters.
Okay.
Instead of bugs. Less bugs, more anime. That's the tagline.
As you can tell from the image on there.
Unravel the mysteries of the
check it
Destroyed
out.
Kingdom in this dark fantasy 2D action RPG. That sound about right? Journey through the sprawling and hauntingly beautiful Land's End, traversing a submerged forest, a sealed-off, contaminated underground cavern, and a grand castle. Formidable bosses await that will gladly claim your life, given even the slightest chance. Defeat these powerful foes and release them from their unending curse to recruit them as allies. Overcome the challenges before you and search for the truth with powerful knights at your side. That is available as of when? Now? August 6th.
No.
August 6th.
And don't wish 5 days away from our lives, man. Don't do that.
Can I just skip tomorrow and go to Saturday? At least like
I mean, if I
or something.
feel like if I go to sleep tonight, I wake up, it'll be December 1st. So.
Hey, football's about to start. I always say when football starts, Christmas is like right around the corner. We're headed that way.
Hey, man, I love that time of the year when we get the college football. Even though I'm not a college football fan,
Let's go.
where I have a team.
Let's go.
I'm just there for the demise for certain teams because a lot of my friends like certain teams, and I'm just there for it. I'm here like I'm waiting for the fallout, so I'm like,
Brant, join us Saturdays and Sundays in the fall.
fall
Brant's
special.
Like, no, I'm good.
Wake me up when September ends there.
Oh,
There we go.
I didn't even know it was coming. I should have known.
Yeah.
Oh, the street delivery.
Every day is a green day when Cesar has the lights on.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does indeed. All right, for the sake of not keeping us super long, I'm going to try to breeze
Sure.
through games played because news ran.
You're a liar.
News ran kind of long. My deepest dive, I guess, this week was Beyond Good and Evil. I played a little bit of that in my traveling a couple weeks ago. Didn't get too deep, but I think I sent it to you guys. Like, I get the whole magic behind it. I get the cult following and stuff. Cesar, how far did you get when you were playing it? Do you remember right off?
I've gotten to the point where you have to meet the leader of the resistance, and you're in that town.
Okay.
So I'm going to that weird
Black Isle.
water highway
Yeah.
area, and it's like I just got off my ship, and I'm looking for like you got to find this bar and say this thing.
The
and
Kuda Bar.
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
as far as I got.
All right, so I'm a little bit past that. Each one of these story beats is basically a dungeon. So it'll lead you to kind of a place in the overworld that you drive your hovercraft to, and it's Jade and Paige, Uncle Paige, who's always talking. He always has some sort of commentary. Like, they wrote a shit ton of dialogue for Uncle Paige. He's always going off about something. He's not annoying though. It's very funny, and it's almost, he's got a fake Southern accent, so it's this falsetto fake Southern thing that we hear. And I'm a little bit past where Cesar's at. I'm actually stuck. I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't know what to do here because I had my save like soft lock me somewhere. I died, and I ended up in a place like if you die, you're not penalized. It doesn't start you back very, very far. It's like the last place it did a quick save. And so it loaded, and then all of a sudden I was somewhere I've never been. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And no matter where I go, there's enemies above me. So it's just a matter of figuring out some patterns and stuff. It's a heavy stealth section, and so far the stealth has been kind of
but that's your jam and butter, right?
Typically is, but I feel like I'm stuck somewhere I shouldn't be. So it's gonna be a matter of getting out of here.
Like one of those RPGs where you're like in an area where you should be 10 levels higher.
Yes, immediately like Final Fantasy 1. Final Fantasy 1, you leave that opening area, instead of going left,
The new continent.
You go to that peninsula to the right, and you're just getting murdered.
Just get destroyed. Like, I don't understand this game.
Yeah, but it's really, really good. The characters are awesome. The story's unfolding. It's a conspiracy, but it's all within the. I love a female protagonist. We talked about the Tomb Raider games earlier, and Jade is a super relatable character. She's just trying to do what's right, and she's a journalist, and so there's starting to be those outside influences, like this is a conspiracy, or you need to listen to what the media is saying. Like there's a bunch of like real world type stuff that's happening in this backdrop of just kind of a cartoonish alien invasion type thing, and I don't know, I'm just really digging it. They created a world here, and I know it was meant for a sequel immediately, and then there was one announced in 2008, and then re-revealed in 2017, but they really did create a world here, and this is a special game. Cesar, I could see this really being up your alley. It's very Wind Waker-esque, They don't. So games nowadays always have like Uncharted had the glowing gold things that you go jump on that would teach you where to go and traverse. Like this game doesn't. It doesn't tell you what to do in these puzzles and stuff. There's nothing like blinking, or you don't have a clue. Sometimes you can talk to Paige and he'll tell you like where your next thing is at, but it's never hey, maybe you should jump up there and crank that turn right there. But
yeah, but that's pretty much been the standard around that generation, right? I mean, PS1, early PS2 never really got that much go here, go there.
Maybe so, but
figure it out.
They do it in such a it's so intuitive though. It's just in the environment. Like it's maybe so. Maybe you're right. I compared it to Wind Waker, which is of that generation. So, and the best chance you had for some of that stuff was like Link's eyes, right? Like you would pan the camera and try to look and see where the cartoon Link was looking at. His eyes would be gazing at a lamp or something. But it's really awesome. I want to get past this. I want to get past this freaking stealth part because it's pissing me off. But there was a segment I
never thought I would hear you say that ever in your life.
What's that?
Stealth part. It's pissing me off.
Sly Cooper. I left Sly Cooper with that mini game.
Yeah, the stealth. Anything with stealth is like, oh, I finally got to the meat and bones or something.
Not this part, man. This part's kicking my ass. But there was a segment when I was playing it Saturday for maybe 4 or 5 hours straight. And I just it was one of those games where I'm like, oh man, this game. And I would set it down and go do something and come right back to it. Like, this game is special. Like, this has something. And it's awesome. I played some more Final Fantasy X on the PS2. It's funny that Cesar sent a clip, or it's just a screenshot to us. Yeah.
Somebody was explaining why they chose the PS2 version over the remaster.
We talked about this in the pre-show. Sure, Final Fantasy X PS2 is probably not the preferred way people are going to play this. Not preferred. It's probably not the easiest way people are going to play this in today's day and age, right? Yeah. It's on Steam. It's on PS3. It's on PS4. It's on Xbox One. It's on Switch. It's on everything past the PS2, essentially. But it looks off. That HD one is a little off, and there's some changes to it, and they definitely changed the design of the characters to a certain extent. It's got a different sphere grid type thing, but if you're trying to beat it for the first time like I am after many, many attempts, it really doesn't matter. Just try to get through the story. But Titus...
I mean, to answer your question, I didn't mean to interrupt, but if the spear thing was your bag, you would be better off playing the remasters, because that's got the international version.
It does.
It's more tiered for that combat-wise.
But I bit the bullet. I was like, I'm just gonna... I want to do this one.
No, I mean, story is what you want, right? Yeah. So you're doing it the right way.
It's so gorgeous on the CRT. It looks so fucking good. I think I sent y'all a couple of screenshots, but I was down here. I'll be watching baseball or something and have that on, or the Olympics.
I got no context photos of you playing Final Fantasy X.
I will send it. I would say friend of the show, but I don't know if he's ever tuned in. Jordan Starkweather. Apologies. He runs the CRT Pixels account on Twitter. If you ever see like CRT Pixels. He's famous for the Symphony of the Night with Dracula, where you can see like here's how it looks with sharp pixels, and here's how it looks on a CRT, and you can see like the blending of the eyes and the nose and the red and the ears and just how it's supposed to look, how that screenshot was supposed to look on a CRT versus like the clear pixels on an LCD or something, and it's wildly different. But he had mentioned a couple weeks ago about Final Fantasy X having a fixed angle. Like, you're on a path. It's very linear, but you're on a journey. So you're with these people, and you're trying to figure out why Sin is attacking these worlds, and Titus is trying to figure out why he ended up in this world. And there's just so many great gameplay design choices that they made with this. It's the first Final Fantasy without the pre-rendered backgrounds after 7, 8, 9 with all the pre-rendered, which are gorgeous. I'm not knocking pre-rendered backgrounds, but, everything was generated in real time. And, there's been a lot of stuff going around like this was the biggest generational leap from Final Fantasy 7 to 10. And I don't know if it's the biggest, but it was definitely like huge for it to be, 4 years, 5 years between 7 and 10?
That was just the time.
Yeah, it's
the time.
Crazy.
How big, yeah.
But this game is gorgeous. I'm listening to, of course, it's the original soundtrack. I've got my little bookshelf speakers next to my CRT, and I'm having so much fun with it. Titus has met up with the summoner Yuna and her party, which consists of Lulu and Kimari, and I have Waka, who is the Blitzball star. I'm going to look at a guide. I always lose at Blitzball. I'm maybe going to try to win this one. I don't know. Or I just say fuck it and just get past it. Have y'all ever been good at that Blitzball minigame?
I don't think I've ever won a match.
Yeah,
so.
I might just say fuck it again like I always do and skip past it. But it's just so much fun. That's one of the best battle systems of a Final Fantasy. You can see the enemy attack order and your attack order. You can swap party members. That was the biggest thing for me. Like, here's a flying person. And like I said, gameplay design, they do such a great job. They'll give you your party. You'll have 3 people. And there will be 1 flying, 1 on the ground, and then like an elemental, like one of those flan enemies that's water.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, okay, I need Waka for the flying one. I need Titus for the one on the ground. Or Oron, maybe. I don't have Oron yet. And then you'll have Lulu for the elemental one, like with her black magic. And it's such a good representation of turn-based RPGs. I'm having so much fun with it. It's a special game. And then we all played some Warzone. We played Warzone Saturday and Tuesday. We played the new... What is the name of that one? I call it Alcatraz.
Rebirth
Island. The same game that Brant just beat a couple weeks ago.
You did?
Not the same thing. I don't know. Are we back on Warzone? I feel like we're back on Warzone.
Yeah.
Somebody made Warzone.
Yeah, we got pulled in.
Yeah. We're having fun with it. Saturday was a bunch of that running, jumping, sliding bullshit that was pissing me off. But
oh gosh,
Tuesday we had none of it.
We haven't touched the game in months.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be, especially a new map. Haven't played it in a while. It's just going to take a while for it to click.
And Cesar, you talked about earlier on the show being in the rotation. Like, no Warzone doesn't need to be my main game. No Halo Master Chief Collection doesn't need to be every night. No Concord doesn't need to be. With these, I think we need to rotate amongst. Mm-hmm. And it's easier for us. We have all the consoles, but
yeah.
I think it's a good one to have in that rotation. And it's fun. I'm enjoying my time with it. And that map is phenomenal. It's got a good mix of water, heights. Our win came from kind of staying in the water a little bit and then kind of charging in towards that prison area. And we got our win that way Saturday. How did we get that win Tuesday? I can't recall.
We
were in the prison area and kind of worked our way up that little hill.
It's crazy because they were so obsessed with trying to kill me, and I was in the gas.
And they had the high ground. And Brant, you got the last kill on that one, right?
Yep.
Mowed them down.
Yeah, I mean, they were so busy trying to kill me in the gas.
Yeah.
It's like Brant was like, I was like, they were so obsessed with trying to kill me. I was like, I'm in the gas. Brant just sat there and just killed them all.
But it seems like we're turning in like first, second, third, and fourth. I mean, 2 wins. I'm not going to say first all the time. Yeah. But we're turning in like top 4. They're fun rounds every time, even when we lose.
Yeah.
Brant always goes, I can't hate that one. That was a good one. I'm the same way. Like, you never want to feel like you wasted your time or it was just some shit ending or something. But like one time, I think we came in second. You guys had died. I was trying to res y'all right outside the gas. And then I was charging up this hill and they were shooting down at me from above. And then one jumps down. So I murdered him. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to heal some and work my way up the hill. And then like the other 3 dudes just came down and that was it. It was like, all right.
The bait.
Yep.
They just called you out. He's down here. Just one. He's down here.
That was meant to be.
What can you do, right?
I mean, you just
what can you do?
1v3. You shrug your head. I didn't have like a mortar strike or anything.
It's not like you can get around the hill. You got to work your way up, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
it is what it is.
Well, I mean that's it. It's just bad placement of the circle. That's all you can do.
We got hosed. We got hosed being at the bottom of that hill.
You didn't have the high ground.
And then we didn't that last time we won when they were shooting at you in the gas and Brant mowed them down. So.
I was just in there like, man, they were obsessed with trying to kill me, man. I was like, they really wanted me dead. So
Cesar, I need you to bring back KD, man. KD's had a renaissance. I feel like if you also bring back KD, we'll have an improvement there. But that's it for me. Beyond Good and Evil on Steam Deck, which just went on sale 2 weeks after I buy it. It's vindictive of Steam, right? It's Ubisoft also. I don't mind supporting it at 20. I don't mind supporting it. Tomba came out today. I want to get that. So if it was like, I Googled it real quick. I was like, how quickly will Steam give a price drop refund? But it's like 24 hours. They're not going to do anything for 2 weeks. And I'm enjoying my time with it. But it would be nice to have that $7 to put towards that Tomba that just came out today for 20. But that's it for my games played. Beyond Good and Evil on Steam. Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2, and Call of Duty Warzone Season 5, Black Cell, Revenge of Kevin Durant. I don't know what the rest.
We can't revenge him yet, man. He's not in there yet.
Alcatraz. You can't use that skin?
I mean, Alcatraz is the one. I haven't played him yet. I mean, I think you can.
Oh, okay. You haven't checked to see if he's in there. I got you.
It's like I'm not spending $30 on the Gundam skins, which look phenomenal, but I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna be compatible with the next
Gundam skin looks
Black
good.
Ops.
I got killed by a Gundam in one of those rounds. I got straight.
We have what that comes out in October. I'm assuming we're getting Warzone 3.0 at that time,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend any money on any skins because we don't know if they're gonna be backwards compatible. They might just be locked to those older Call of Duty SKUs, you know.
So how do you think
multiplayer.
how do you think they play that? Because for the first time, day one, everybody's gonna have. Do you try to put your resources in the multiplayer mode that everybody's gonna have day one through Game Pass, or do you?
I think they just stagger it, right?
Concurrent?
They would do Black Ops first, and then they would introduce Warzone a little bit after that, right? I don't think you would overwhelm it, right? I mean, I think that's what they've done before. Previously, going Warzone 2.0, I think they did that of that version of Call of Duty first, and then did Warzone like maybe a month or two later.
You don't think the Game Pass launch will have anything to do with that content flow?
Who knows, right? I mean, we saw what Brandt's Game of the Year, Modern Warfare 3 on there on Game Pass. Has anything changed since then? So
that's been his Game of the Year like 3 years in a row.
I know, man. That's got the Brand McKee seal of approval on the back of the box. So just him doing 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
So.
In his ghost mask.
Yeah. For me, I did play Toomba. I purchased that today.
Awesome.
Put an hour of that in there. I've played Toomba. I played the demo on PlayStation back in the day. I think that's how I got my experience with it. I did purchase a copy of that one. I never purchased 2 day and date. I got that later on in the great Rhino sale of 2010, 2009. I can't remember. Around that time, 2008.
7.
Yeah, it's around the late 2000s. I mean, I picked up the second one from there, and we are getting a remaster of that. It looks like Toomba from PlayStation. I mean, it's running on that Carbon engine. The visuals seem to fill the screen. You still get the 4:3 image when I was playing on. It doesn't look too bad on Steam Deck. I've seen many complaints about it on PlayStation 5 and Switch. I mean, PlayStation 5 probably more so on TV. Maybe Steam and Steam on PC, where some of the imaging, based off the reviews, some of the imaging is kind of odd with the stretched out widescreen to fill it in there. I don't see that it plays pretty good on the Steam Deck resolution wise. So, of course, you have your save states, rewind, all those features on there.
Rewind makes that a must get potentially.
Part of the Carbon engine. So and Brand, you would describe this as what like a Metroidvania-esque game where you move left to right, you got to go back and complete quests.
Yeah.
As you go through.
I don't know, there's so much adventure.
I mean,
Tomba's a little different. It's interesting the way it plays. Yeah,
it's a lot of backtracking. You got to like acquire an item. Like the very beginning, you have it looks like the dad from the Wild Thornberries. Maybe when he jumps down.
It's a very specific reference that we all get.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you gotta meet this 100-year-old man up ahead, and then as you go through, you'll see like a mist blocking your way through, and you have to find an item in there, and it's like the item's inside of a mailbox, and it's what they call like a twisty tornado or something like that. And it's just a bunch of bees that whoever lives in that house was trying to put in there for somebody for stealing his mail in his mailbox. So there's a lot of weird, quirky stuff from a MC that does not speak outside of just grunts, kind of like a la Link. From every game, I guess, because I don't think I've seen a Link speak outside of
the cartoon only, and that went so well.
And maybe the 3DO games. I take that back. I'm sure he's spoken to 3D games. So,
the Philips CDI games.
We don't count those.
Yeah, CDI. Excuse me. Thank you for the correction. So as you go through, you run into this quest like, oh, monkey's asking for food. Passing the mist, you see something from a vehicle. You see stuff that you encounter in the future as you go through, and you move left to right, and you just acquire these items depending on what task you do on there, and bring it back to complete that story beat, that little side mission, because they give you AP points, like ability points or something like that. You get so many, and it keeps track of it, and that helps you unlock further things in the game. So it's got a very good gameplay mechanic. It's like I said, it's very simple, left to right, and then you can flip the script and go into the background and do the exact same thing, left to right. You can climb walls and go into the background. And I don't remember too many games in the past that's done this, right? I think that's what made it very unique at the time for side-scrolling platformer. But I don't think I've ever beaten it, so looking forward to putting more time into it. I did buy a digital copy on Steam Deck because I plan to get a physical copy on consoles probably because I do love this game.
It's my path I've been taking.
And yeah, I think it's at this point. I've mentioned this to a friend of the show, Renee, all the time. I think I'm pretty much done buying full price games on consoles, digital only. I would wait if they're 10 or less, sure. But if it's a full price game or close to full price, I'm probably going to buy it on Steam. So that's the reason why I chose there. But it plays fine. I didn't see any hiccups. It plays just like you're playing on the PlayStation.
Awesome.
So nothing out of the ordinary. So if it's something that it's only $20. It could have been $12.99 for Richard if you would have got on that good evil deal. But
I'm happy supporting it. I'll support this one too.
Yeah. It's
got like an art gallery and it's got some special features to it, right? Have you checked those out or just played the game?
I haven't done it. It does have the interview with the director. Yeah. That's on there. I haven't looked at any of the bonus features. That's something in the other menus. They've done that with the other games they've released on their like Gimmick and all that, where they've gone and talked to the developer. I've seen those, and those are pretty good. I mean, I know Richard's very big on video game history, and they do have very good story beats in those documentaries. They kind of like talk about like their mindset for making those games and whatnot. So I haven't seen this one, so I can't really explain to it, but it does play well. I look forward to hopefully you guys buying it and talking about it next week. Outside of that, before I get to I don't want to take up too much time because it's almost 2 hours, so I'm going to speed up a little bit more. I was one of those weird kids growing up when we had a Super Nintendo. I played Aero the Acrobat as well as Bugsy. So I did purchase Aero the Acrobat for Switch. It is my childhood. Is it a very good video game? But I do remember it fondly, and I did play a little bit of that one, the first level, and it does not play as well as I remember it. I've had when I was a kid, it was fun, but this game is like you have an attack which is dive. You just jump and you just dive, and you dive in a direction that's either up or down, and then certain things you can kill like clowns, and there's certain clowns that are floating around, twisting around that just light your world up. But that's only in the circus act that I think which is the first stage. It may change as you go throughout the game later. It's been a while since I played it, but it is a platformer. This is being done by Ralakai Games or something like that. It's a Sunsoft emulated game. This is the first one. They came out and said that the 2 was coming out next month. Then they have the Squirrel game, which was like something in that universe coming out in October, and then they have the Game Boy Advance game coming out, and I think in November, which is a port of the original game on Super Nintendo
with enhanced
updated
sprites and stuff. Yeah, that going to be?
Yeah, so all 4 games are coming out before the end of this year on all consoles, but for whatever reason, skipping PC, which is weird. But it's on all consoles.
Is it going to be in a collection eventually, or is it just piecemeal?
Right now it's just piecemeal, but I've seen them work with certain games from the library from Limited Run, so I'm hoping that we'll come out with a collection. We'll double dip. I know everybody's a huge fan of Bubsy on this show, as well as Double Dragon. My childhood's weird. Please don't judge me, and don't let it be vindictive of what these other people on this podcast play, because nothing but me.
My views on gaming does not reflect the views of my employer or this podcast.
Yeah. So I know you guys are Double Dragon deniers. So
only with you.
Yeah, but I do love me some Double Dragon. I do love me some Bubsy, and I do love me some Aero the Acrobat.
I've never played Aero the Acrobat. My context for it is that a friend of the show, Joel, who wrote our intro and outro song many years ago, who Brant and I and Cesar have known for many, many years, infamously traded a copy of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest back in the day for Super Nintendo for a copy of Aero the Acrobat, and thus had this disdain for Aero the Acrobat because of the trade he made.
Mystic Quest is a game.
I don't know if it was a win or a loss. He counted it as a loss. He'd rather have Mystic Quest.
Yeah, was it Final Fantasy USA when they call it in Japan?
Final Fantasy USA.
Because that was it's like we can't just have Mario have a version of a USA game. So the main thing I've probably put another 5 hours into is I've been slowly making my way through Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Completed the quest for the second star, which is the one I left off last week when I met Madame Flurry, which is a actress ghost kind of like playwright where she got bored and moved out into the boonies basically, and you have to help these groups called the Punies, Punio and Puna. They call them Punies. It's kind of like I guess because they're supposed to be puny.
Okay.
So it's like a play on that. Like Paper Mario's known for play on words a
Right.
lot.
Mm.
So the X knots have or cross knots, or however. I hate when they throw X on there because I don't know how they ever fucking want you to pronounce anything because I'm gonna get it wrong every time. They've confiscated the Great Tree and are looking for the star. So as you go through, you have to team up with Madame Flurry, which has the mechanic of using you grab her and you just kind of you squeeze her and she blows out air. So it interacts with the environment where it looks like pages are about to pop off. So that opens up a new mechanic where you have to kind of look around and blow stacks of hay and wallpaper to get access to a new area. This game is very good. It's kind of like counterintuitive what Richard brought up earlier with Beyond Good and Evil. If you're lost, you can always press ZR and your partner will tell you like, oh, we should be looking for something in this room. Or, hey, isn't it weird that this pipe has drag lines against it? So like they don't tell you exactly what to do, but you can look at like, oh, okay, I know what I'm looking for. And you're like, oh, okay, kind of figure it out. So like there are times when I feel like I get lost, but it's not whatever where I have to like go online and watch a YouTube
I'm great
video,
with a
like,
hint being there, or
nowadays.
it being a button press or something like that, but not like always telling me like a map saying, "Hey, go here and do this, go
Yeah.
up this ladder." Yeah,
It's good because I like it. It's not in your face.
Yeah.
It's not all in your face. Like where like I'm trying to play the game and it's telling me what to do. It's like stop telling me what to do. Let me ask when I want to
Yeah.
figure something out. You know what I mean? If I can't figure out, let me ask you.
and
So it will never let you know unless you press that button, right? That's how it works. You could go through that whole game without ever asking your partner for any advice. So it's pretty good about
I
that.
didn't play it, but you guys were talking about the newest God of War game. Like the kid will be like, "Hey, maybe you should swing your axe at this thing." Like it's right there telling you the environmental solution and the environmental puzzle solution and stuff like that.
Yeah, some people have complained about how gaming can be easy, but I mean, I think that's fine. I think you should leave that stuff on there, but I wish they would leave options. You know, like, oh, maybe not put the yellow paint all over Resident Evil games to figure out where I'm going. So, because some
Right.
people do like that challenge.
Right.
So, I think, I don't think they need to take that stuff away. I just think, the accessibility stuff or, difficulty and all that. I mean, like I said, there was a discourse about putting a pause button in Elden Ring. I mean, there should be a pause button in Elden Ring. So, but I'll leave it at that. Send all your hate to me. I don't care. So, outside of that, I'm going to keep going here. After that, you complete that. You go to another town where it's called Glitzville. The next chapter for the next star, and this one is kind of like a battle arena, kind of like Gladiator. And a lot of these vignettes, Richard, which you're a fan of, it's like these small stories. It does a very good job of these, where it does small, contained. You interact with a lot of characters who are just not cannon fodder for the story. They actually bring value to the story and kind of bring it along. Because this one is like Glitzville, which I thought was interesting because it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like this because you start off like level 20, you got to work your way up. So I got to do 20 battles. There's nothing you have to explore in that building. It's just a coliseum. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like the whole like constantly getting battles and leveling up to continue the story. So you have this hot character in there who it looks like the Crystal Star eyes on a wrestling belt. And he's a champion. So like the whole gimmick is like, all right, I got to go up there and win the belt so I can
Come
get the
for the
Crystal Star.
champ. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically that whole bit. But it turns into a whole thing where you find out that the previous champion there, Moosh, I think it's called Moosh, disappears, and it's like this whole story. Like, all right, so you don't know who's your friend or your foe. So you're working for a guy called Jabba, or Jabba. It's almost like Jabba the Hutt, but it's something
Jabba the
similar. I gotta
Hutt.
look at it again, but I won't. I think it's Jabra, because I think of Jabra, I think of the freaking headset. So it's always I'm gonna get it confused with something else.
It's either a headset or a slug gangster.
Yeah. So he's the Don King of that environment, where he's going through and he's telling you like, you got to win the fight, but you got to do it a certain way. Like you have to appeal to the crowd, or you can't use items, and if you don't win that way, then you don't complete the rank, and you have to go play the rank again. So it's like it adds some more difficulty on that. But as you go through, you have another character where she's there, like a secretary. She's there, and you don't know who's helping you because you have somebody who's secretly sending you items to help you progress through the Coliseum. But they're all so suspicious that I actually sat there. I thought I figured out the story, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Cause it's like it actually had me guessing because I was like, what I thought was happening didn't look like what's happening. I don't know if the bad guy is the real bad guy here. So I was like, it did a pretty good job where it made me, it made me question it for a second. I was like, this game is pretty good, man. I was like, I didn't think I was gonna like these bits, but that was probably one of the best story bits I played on there. And so now I'm at the part where Twilight Town, which it sounds like a fucking Kingdom Hearts level. Every time I say it, it's fucking called Twilight Town. Sorry, I'm not getting it mixed up. That's the name of the town. So that's the next crystal star, and it's funny because the name of the chapter is called for the for whom the was for the pig who the bell tolls or something like that. It's like a reference to for whom the bell tolls.
That's good stuff.
And so like for me to get to that town, it's like I had to meet a character that was from that town, and I couldn't go through the pipe. The pipe would reject me. It's like, yeah, something kind of like weird things. Like, yeah, I won't let you through because you have to have your name written on you. So it's like, all right, here you go, Mario. And it's like, now the pipe will accept you and let you go through. And I went through, and I popped up in this whole town. It's like every time a bell rings, everybody in the town was turned into a pig. And so I went through, and there's like it's called the creepy steeple. And that's where the star is supposedly at. So I went up there, and I fight this like blanket ghost where it looks like a ghost of blankets. And he used this move where they did the classic move where the final part of the battle, and that was that he turns into the doppelganger of Mario, which is all purple. And then I was like, I beat it. I was like, holy shit. I was like, it took me like 30 minutes for this chapter to get the crystal star. It gave it to me, and I just walked out. And then I just sat there at the screen and just showed the silhouette of Mario, and I said, all right, what the fuck am I doing here? So I ended up pressing A button, and you become the fucking silhouette. He takes over your body. So like, you got to go back and get your body back. So like the chapter still kept going. So I was like, Netta added a whole character, like he's trying to destroy you.
Nice element.
And it's like, all right. He's like, now for me to beat him, I have to give his name. So I was like, I was sitting there looking at the alphabet because it's like, all right, guess his name. And I noticed that the letter P is missing. So I was like, I know it's in there. It has a P in there. I don't have access to it. So I was like, I now had to go team up with a new character, a new friend who was originally my villain that I was fighting throughout the whole game, which is from the Shadow Sisters, Vivian. So she's helping me out because she doesn't know it's Mario. She doesn't know that the person she's helping out is the guy she's trying to beat. So now we're going back to Creepy Steeple. So look for the thing to beat.
Great!
So that's the part I'm at right now.
What a great gameplay element and design.
Cool.
That's fantastic.
So I'm really enjoying this game because I've never played it before. I played the Super Mario 64, not Super Mario 64, but Paper Mario 64.
I was playing that a couple months ago.
I really enjoyed that one too because that does a very good job on the areas you go through, and it tells that story that contains story. And I think I've really enjoyed this one, and I think that if I were going to compare it to modern Mario, I think this is would remind me like the Origami King one that came out recently. But I don't think the Origami King did a very good job on the storytelling as well as this one, where I think it was just a longer story with the same characters. I enjoy like these bite-sized stories with containing the situations.
The vignettes you were referencing.
I almost forgot because one of my friends that I got from the Glitzville was a Yoshi egg. So I had found a Yoshi egg, got it on there, and I carried him around, and he hatched when you go to the next part of the Coliseum when you go to level 10 or higher. And then you have to name him. So it's like a little miniature Yoshi. And his attack is where he'll grab somebody, spit it out. So that lets you beat people that have spikes because I couldn't beat the spike people because I couldn't jump on them, and they would shoot spikes at me when I go up there with a hammer. So I named him, and I named him Yoshitaro, and that still gets me every time because I was like Yoshitaro. Every time I see the name, I was like Yoshitaro, because Taro is Japanese for first son. So every time I see him, I was like Yoshitaro. So Taro's like such a common name over there. So every time I see it, it makes me laugh. But yeah, that's it. I don't want to take too much time. We still got to get the brand. It's almost been 2 hours, but I've really enjoyed the
1,000 Year Door. That's awesome.
I'm about halfway through it, and maybe 15 hours into it. So it seems maybe like a 40-hour game. Really enjoying my time with it. I've been slowly going through it. So I've been catching myself putting like 1 hour gaming sessions. I turned to 4 to 5, but that's it for me this week. So
good stuff.
I really haven't played much outside of Warzone.
Yeah.
I did, in fact, get this PSVR 2.
Yeah. Beautiful headset behind you. Look at that.
It came in. Nice. It came in yesterday. I'll talk a little.
Did you buy a case for it yet?
It's on the way.
Okay. Did you buy the same one as me, the official one?
Yes.
I think that's the best looking one. I went in and paid the $60 for it. I'm sad. But
what's the official case look like? I need to check it out.
Looks like the old one. It's the same brand.
Yep. That and the charging base is coming.
Let me know how that goes because I didn't buy the charging base. How much is that?
50.
50.
Yeah.
I haven't. I only bought the case, and I don't want to take away from your thing. I only bought the case because it was like 6 left, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to have a hard time finding it. I don't really want to buy anything because Amazon, for whatever reason, I was supposed to get it today, like you were.
So
and then they pushed it back to like August 5th, and I was like, I feel like they're gonna fuck me over.
So let me tell you a little bit about my experience here. Yesterday, I open up the Amazon box and notice right off the bat, the box for the VR looks fine. There's some minor smudges and stuff on the side of the box, and I can track that up to handling and shipping and whatnot. But there are 2 stickers on the outside.
Yeah.
One is the standard like circular kind of translucent,
one.
that they just slap on there. The other is like the Sony kind of tamper-proof shiny stickers that peels off in a different layer when you take it off to know that it's been messed with. The Sony sticker was fine. The regular circle translucent thing had been cut or had been damaged, gone.
Okay.
So I checked out that Sony sticker and just made sure, and I'm like, no, it hasn't been tampered with. So I open it up, it peels like those usually do, leaving back these little dots on the backside. Open it up, get to the second portion. There is yet another circular sticker on that VR on the inside, on the white box, that has also been sliced through.
Oh.
Interesting.
And I did notice somebody, if you scroll all the way down on Amazon, because these are fulfilled by Amazon, somebody has a 1-star review that says not new. Like, sold as new, but it's not new. But the thing is, I don't know if it was returned, if it was a refurb from Sony themselves, or what the heck. Like you said, if they're just trying to clear out the inventory, or what's going on. But I mean, I looked at the headset. There's no scratch, no dings, no scuffs, nothing.
Did it prompt you for an update when you plugged it in? I have. Yeah, so I mean, I think you would be good at that point, because usually that's your indicator.
Yeah,
right?
there was. It's got these little headphones that have earbuds in them. I looked at those. Yeah, I looked at those. They're not disgusting or grody or show any signs of any kind of gunk in them on them. I looked at the controllers thoroughly. Same thing. No scratches, dents, dings. Everything still had the little twist ties on them. And I'm like, okay, that's just odd. But, it looks brand new. I charged everything and turned it on. Everything's working.
That's good.
They were going through, I think today was the end of the sale. So I actually bought a couple of cheaper or games that VR games that were on sale. I think for $10 there was this game. It's called Ven, VEN, VR Adventure. It looks like a cross between Ratchet and Clank meets just like Crash Bandicoot platforming levels. Yes.
Wanted to hear PlayStation Hero too.
When you get a chance, look it up. I mean, literally, this little mascot dude kind of looks like Ratchet.
VEN, you said?
VEN, VR Adventure. Of course, I have Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Village. So I knew those would be VR. The other VR game that I bought that looked interesting.
This is cute.
It's highly rated too, isn't it, Richard? It's got like 4.5 stars.
Ratchet and Clank, straight Ratchet and Clank. This is good shit.
Yeah. The other VR game I think was on sale for like $20. It's called Stride Fates, and it looks like a VR free running game, almost akin to like Mirror's Edge kind of deal. So after that was downloaded, I decided to boot that up. I don't know if it is the movement or what. There is some slight jank with that game as well. I was having a little bit of jank here and there.
Did it make you sick at all, or was just
in that game?
It was just like the gameplay was janky.
The motion sickness.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The motion sickness.
Hope they don't ship mine.
to the,
Uh-oh.
to the point where I had to take it off and lay in the floor for a second. It wasn't as bad as Resident Evil 7 was that one time,
That's
where like
that took me hours to recover. That
yeah,
took me
yeah,
hours.
it took me about an hour or so to recover from that. I mean, I was like sweating and just it was bad with Resident Evil 7. So after I started feeling a little bit better, I was like, okay, well, let me just pop in something. Let me see how Resident Evil 4 looks in VR. So here's a little tip for you, Sess. Go ahead and do this because they fucking hide it for no reason. I thought I was good just going and updating the games, and then it would be fine. Because literally, I updated, everything's good, and it even shows the little VR logo next to the game icon on my PlayStation 5. I turn on the VR, I'm right there at the menus. I go into the game, and I go to story mode, and it says to continue, you must use the controller. And I noticed my controller regular dual sense was still on. I'm like, let me turn it off. So I turn it off, and then it says something about reconnect your controller, and it wouldn't let me do anything with the VR Sense controller. So I backed out, restarted the game. I'm using the Sense controllers to navigate the menus now. I'm like, all right, here we go. I click story mode, and again, it says you must use a regular DualSense controller. I said, what the hell's going
What?
on? I'm looking through all the menus. I'm looking through the bonuses. I'm not seeing anything about VR. So I had literally had to look it up. You have to, somebody said you have to go to the store page and go to the three little dots and look for the VR version and download it. Well, I went to the store page, clicked the three dots, and the VR version wasn't down there. I had to scroll down toward the bottom of the page for the game on the PlayStation Store and saw the Resident Evil VR mode free download on there. You have to download it completely separately. So
That's a bit weird, but isn't that how they
and
hide
that
like the PS4 versions of stuff sometimes?
sometimes.
Yeah.
And so and you have to do that cuz I did it for it's not a very large update for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fairly quick download, and then while I was on there, I was like, well, let me go ahead and look at Village because I'm sure Village has the same
It'll be the
bullshit,
same
and it
way.
was exactly the
Yeah.
same. So just make sure you go to the store page and scroll down, and you'll see a tile that says Resident Evil, whichever one you're on,
That'll save
VR
you some
mode
hunting.
free. So, because I don't understand why they would it's a free update and you update the game like normal. The icon's up there, it shows it, VR compatible. You boot it up, VR compatible, and it I don't know. But I got into once I got it working. I went in and played around the tutorial portion where it lets you kind of play around with shooting some of the guns. You have to like manually drop the magazines and reach down into your little satchel, pull out a new magazine, load the gun, cock it, and fire. And
Yeah.
same with like the shotgun and everything like that. It's actually pretty cool.
Very
It didn't
tactile.
it didn't make me feel bad at all.
Even walking around, like moving around, didn't get you.
No, I the default is that like snap movement or snap looking to everything, and I wasn't feeling that, so I kind of changed it to the smooth movement, and I want to
The
see
locomotion
if I
they
can.
call it.
Yeah, I want to see if I can um, just play the game and start it and see how I feel, because I know just walking through the little shooting gallery and then getting up to the counter and shooting it, I felt fine. Whereas, like I said, that other game, I started the tutorial on that, and I didn't even get like 4 minutes in before I was like, nope, 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 get me out of
That was
here.
Stride, right? The runner game.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to wind up going and getting somebody suggested some Dramamine. I don't know if I need patches or pill or something for motion sickness, but I want to
Living your
play some of
best
these.
Solid Snake life.
But I want to play some of these damn games.
Yeah, it's the whole your
But
body
yeah,
thinks it's moving because it's what you're looking at, and you're not moving. It can't add those up.
but the setup is actually really simple, really quick. The eye tracking, it sets up your eye tracking and
How does
everything.
that work? I don't.
Uh,
I still that blows my mind how it works, but it does.
it does. It
That's
just
wicked.
works. I mean, it takes you through two different screens, and you just follow a little dot, and it moves around in front of you. You just follow it with your eyes, and then after that, it's like all finished, and it like sets up all these dots around the edge, and you can look at all of them, and they all light up, and they all have like a different chime letting you know you're looking at them, and
That's
the
insane.
pass through is actually pretty decent. There's a button on the bottom, and you just press it, and you can go to a pass
Yeah.
through and see your surroundings, setting up your play area, subtracting or adding to that play area is very
Is
easy.
a cord long on that for
Um,
connecting to the PS5?
yeah,
Yeah. Is it
yeah.
removable? Can you add your own like USB-C cord that connects the two?
Um,
Because that's all it
hmm,
is, right?
I don't know. I actually haven't looked that hard into it.
Gotcha. I have
Um,
major tech envy with you guys, by the way. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's
and there
super
was,
cool.
gosh, there's something else. I can't remember what it was now. I mean, I could when you turn it on, the headset buzzes, so I know it's got the haptics
Yeah.
in the headset. So I'm interested to see how those are going to work when I play any of these.
Find a game. Find a game where somebody punches you in the face repeatedly.
Boxing game. Ivan Drago
Um,
Simulator.
I've seen like some other games on there that like as soon as I saw them, I'm like, oh, that's Red Steel. That game is Red Steel, but it's VR. I've got another scary game. It's called Madison VR, where it's
Interesting.
like got it's like demonic possession or something, and you're something to do with like a poltergeist or something, and using a camera. I don't know if it's to see the poltergeist or what, but it looks. If you look that game up and watch the trailer, it looks scary as hell. Um,
Yeah, I think the only VR2 game I bought was that visual novel that came out in the
yeah.
UK.
There's another
Oh,
the same people that made the Until Dawn VR, like the first VR game,
Yeah.
they made another one, and it looks pretty
It's
good
Russia
too.
Blood.
yeah.
Russia Blood
Like
esque.
Yes,
the dark
Dark
pictures or
Pictures.
something like
Yeah,
that.
it's a Dark Pictures
Yeah.
one, but it's made by the exact same people that did the Russia Blood one for the first VR. So
Cool.
I'm very excited to really sink my teeth into this because it's the picture quality's way better than the first one. You still kind of get a little bit of that screen door effect, but it's leaps and bounds
Damn.
above that original VR.
Which I thought
And
was a great piece of tech.
they,
Mm.
not only are you able to adjust it closer and farther away from your face, there's a part to adjust those lenses um, to really dial it into your
Mm-hmm.
eyes. So this one is I highly suggest it, especially at the price point. If
Worthy
you can
upgrade.
find it, yeah. If you can find it, and maybe once I get the case, maybe it's something I could even loan to you, Richard, to
Oh
get you to.
no. This is the OLED Steam Deck all over again. I can't look at it. If I
Uh
don't look at it, I'm okay.
I mean, no, I mean you're time based at this point, right? So the sale ends in this week.
Yeah.
So
True.
I mean, if you make it past the sale, there's no point in you paying for it. At that point, you just took yourself out. So I
Oh,
don't think
there'll
that's a
be
big,
another
that big of
sale.
a deal.
Thanks, Brant.
There'll be another sale. We'll get him.
Oh,
But that's it. That's it for me.
some VR games on the new PlayStation VR 2. All right, guys, got anything else you want to add before we get out of here? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.